Hello guys and welcome to all those training to become Super Saiyans. This is Revolution. So I have a very interesting topic today. I'm going to be discussing and putting forth to you an idea on how it is hypothetically possible that the life form known as Whis is in actuality an avatar for a fifth dimensional being residing in the space-time continuum. Now, in the title, I say Whis. In this video, I'll be saying Whis a lot, but in general, I am actually referring to every angel. Whis being a major character in Dragon Ball Super, we have just simply seen more feats from him than any of the other angels. We've seen a few from Vados, but largely from Whis. Now, I made a video a couple of weeks ago that was entitled Why Whis is Far More Powerful Than You Thought. In that video, we discuss Whis' abilities, techniques, and skills, and feats that he has shown in the Dragon Ball Super series. If you haven't seen that video, I'll link it at the end on the end screen so you can check it out. But in that video, I also mention how Whis is a fifth dimensional character. However, there is one if about the situation. Now, I've not changed my mind on this matter. I'm still 99% sure he is a fifth dimensional being. But that if got me pondering many different solutions. And this is a potential outcome that could explain what is happening. So this video is going to use a lot of feats that Whis has proven he has within his capability. However, my idea is simply a theory, so you have to take it with a pinch of salt. But in this video, I'm going to propose to you why Whis could be a fifth dimensional avatar. Just before I begin, I would like to ask anybody new to this channel to consider subscribing. I have a library full of very diverse content discussing anything Dragon Ball. If you love Dragon Ball, you will love my channel. By subscribing and hitting that notification bell, you will receive my content as soon as I release it. So, especially if you didn't see my video, Why Whis is Far Stronger Than You Thought, you're probably wondering, how exactly is Whis fifth dimensional in the first place? Well, despite being massively faster than light, 24/7 Ultra Instinct, having the ability to casually manipulate matter, even being able to manipulate time itself to a certain degree, clairvoyance with his staff, which practically gifts him nigh omniscient sight, being omnilingual, opening portals to separate dimensions. None of these quite prove that he is fifth dimensional. However, what does is his ability to time travel. In episode 67 of Dragon Ball Super, after the defeat of merged Zamasu, Whis tells future Trunks that he can indeed take Trunks back to his timeline, but before Zamasu started his rebellion. Upon protests claiming that Trunks will have to fight against Zamasu again, Whis said that he will go to Beerus himself to ask the Beerus of that timeline to deal with Zamasu. He clearly states in episode 67, I shall go to that future. Now, the only two other methods of time travel we know of in Dragon Ball is the time machine and the time ring. Well, to wear the time ring, you have to be a Supreme Kai. That Whis is not. And Whis also didn't accompany future Trunks and Mai to that timeline. He went on his own. So to be able to time travel, obviously what you need to be able to do is move from one time continuum to another time continuum. To do that, you have to become external from the 3D, 4D space you're in to move into the 3D, 4D space that you are traveling to. That external place has to be a higher dimension that can withhold both of those time continuums. And that dimension is otherwise known as the fifth dimension. Now, the fifth dimension is a unified field theory of gravitation and electromagnetism. The ideology of it is that the fifth dimension is beyond our usual perception of the third and fourth dimension, beyond the space-time continuum, beyond the present timeline in which Goku and our heroes reside in now. In the fifth dimension, you are no longer restricted by time, because any fourth dimensional point in time can be connected to any other fourth dimensional point in time, because of the extra degree of freedom in the fifth dimensional space. Now, we have seen a fifth dimensional structure in the Dragon Ball verse. The World of Void is a fifth dimensional structure. As Beerus tells us in episode 78 of Dragon Ball Super, the World of Void is a place without time or space. They say it has infinite nothingness. It isn't true infinity, it is just a fifth dimensional space. Something that seems infinite on a lower dimension doesn't necessarily make it infinite at a higher dimension. But to beings of that dimension, that infiniteness just is basically an unquantifiable amount to the being in question. It's basically immeasurable. However, the world of Void, a fifth dimensional construct which was seemingly created on the spot by the Grand Priest, Whis' father, appears to be a separate fifth dimensional space, as it was stated to be filled with infinite nothingness, hence the name the world of Void. It goes without saying that Whis would need to enter the fifth dimension to time travel. There is even a time traveling sequence in episode 60 where future Trunks, Bulma, Vegeta and Goku are travelling back to the future, and we see them travelling through what appears to be a void. So how exactly are these beings able to time travel? Well, they are completely reliant on the time machine. So I'm claiming that Whis is fifth dimensional. However, there is a being in the Dragon Ball verse who Whis has actually stated to be the most eminent being in the whole verse. Is evidently not fifth dimensional. Of course, I'm talking about the Omni King Zeno. In the future timeline, we are introduced to future Zeno. This means that Zeno's being is affected by time itself. There should, as a result, be another Omni King Zeno in each timeline that has been created in Dragon Ball. And even more scarily so, another Zamasu, or should I say other Zamasus, other Majin Boos, and in some of those timelines even other cells. After all, Whis was going to visit the future Beerus, so clearly Beerus is also affected by time. So why exactly would it be different from Whis? After all, in episode 63, it is revealed that Whis did in fact exist in the future timeline. This is what the Supreme Kai of Universe 7 Shin tells Goku. Goku-san, unfortunately, when the god an angel serves dies, the angel ceases to function until the next god appears. So upon Goku Black killing Shin, effectively killing Beerus in the future timeline, Whis ceased to function. He didn't die. It simply states the angel ceases to function until the next god appears. Admittedly, from what it says, it does sound like the body becomes inactive, non-functional, kind of like a computer when you turn it off. Now, we also know that Whis is the biological son of the Grand Priest, the Daishinkan, so we know he's not a robot. So it doesn't mean Whis' conscious turns off. Now, what I propose, and this is important later for a reasoning why Whis can time travel, is that rather than Whis' conscious turns off, it simply leaves this 3D physiological body. And once a new god of destruction has been put in place, Whis returns to the body. When I title my videos, I do pick the words wisely, and Avatar has been picked for a reason, because in the movie Avatar, we see Sam Worthington's character literally assume a new body to talk to the tribe he's trying to infiltrate. Now, that's just an analogy because obviously Sam Worthington's character, before taking upon that new body, was also a third dimensional body. But Whis, what I'm trying to say is a fifth dimensional being taking upon a third dimensional body to become the angel guide to the god of destruction Beerus. In essence, making the being called Whis an avatar for his fifth dimensional real self. Episode 82, Whis tells Beerus, "I'm just a guide who was dispatched from that side after all." Where is that side? Is he talking about Zeno's home and where Zeno is residing? Zeno's mansion, as well as the multiverse itself, is literally atop a giant squid-like creature that is floating through a great expanse. The image of it is on your screen right now. You see in episode 55 and episode 77. Now, we know that the angels aren't beyond being erased, as the Grand Priest had to ask Zeno not to include the angels upon the erasure. And as said before, Zeno is not a fifth dimensional being. He is affected by time. But what I do propose about Zeno is his erasure is a broken ability. It is a hacks of unknown scale. In the future timeline, future Zeno erased a metaphysical being that was spreading throughout time and space itself, multiverse, and most likely the megaversal structure on which the multiverse resides. Even if that verse where Zeno's house is was to be considered the fifth dimension, Zeno has the power to obliterate it. This is why the angels are scared of him. It would be a broken ability or a hacks if this was to be the case. Zeno is not an omnipotent being. He isn't even omniscient or omnipresent. He can barely even count. So how he came up with the mortal ratings, I don't know, because they use decimal points. The hierarchy surrounding Zeno doesn't seem quite right. I'm sure you can agree with me on that. But if Whis is an avatar of a fifth dimensional being, That means the information that Whis has found out in the present timeline, he could relay it to an alternate timeline any given moment. By no means am I saying Whis is an omniscient being. I do believe he has omniscient sight due to his staff, but he's still learning as he lives day to day in his avatar. Anyway, this is just a hypothetical discussion, a theory. Take it with a pinch of salt. I do feel like it could help answer how Whis can time travel, how his body ceases to function, and then return upon a new god of destruction being appointed. It would only make sense if they go back to their own world, wherever that may be, if it's in the fifth dimension or anywhere else. But this is why Whis could be a fifth dimensional avatar. Anyway guys, let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section. I know it's a bit mind-boggling, but I hope you enjoy these kind of discussions. I certainly do. And if you do enjoy them, please smash that like button with the biggest Kamehameha you can muster. Those likes seriously help my videos get seen. Do not forget to subscribe, and remember one very important final message. If you stay calm in any vexing situation, you will never become a Super Saiyan. If you love talking about Dragon Ball on a daily basis, I promise you this channel is for you. Make sure you subscribe to my channel to get all the latest content as soon as it's released.